So here you can see I've already unboxed and opened up each one of the varied banana plugs and speaker cables that they've sent me. So we're going to go through, I'm going to show you what banana cables are for. I'm also going to show you the differences between each one of these models and what they're used for and how they're best utilized. And then we're also going to show you how to install banana plugs onto bare speaker wire. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today, as you can see, we're not in a theater room. We're in my home office. We're going to be doing an unboxing of some products from Sewell. Now, in the past, I have used a lot of these Sewell banana plugs in my home theater. And so today, they sent me a really cool package. We've got lots of stuff in here. It's 27 pounds worth of stuff. And so I believe there's some speaker wire in here, some banana cables, and possibly some other goodies. So we'll go ahead and get this unboxed. We'll take a look. I'm not even going to look at the packing slip. I want to be surprised. Oh, here we go. Oh, nice. All right. So those are Ocelot banana plugs. I love banana plugs. Let's see what else I got in here. Let's see, some cables. Oh, wow, those are heavy too. So 50 foot of 12 gauge cable. So nice and thick. Some more 50-foot cables. Oh, look, dude, they're already terminated. Oh, nice. I want to get these out and take a look. More. Holy cow, lots of 50-foot. And even their packaging, man. I love the style. I love the design of this. This looks really nice. So we got a 15-foot. So, man, a lot of these are already terminated. Guys, I'm super pumped about this. Where this is going to come in really handy is I've got a lot of products and a lot of times where a company will send me an entire system. So I honestly think we've got enough to cover like a 5.0, maybe even a 7.0 system. So that is fantastic, man. I am running out of room here, man. There's so much stuff. This is awesome. So I'll tell you what, let's take a look at these one at a time and just see what we've got in here. So here you can see I've already unboxed and opened up each one of the varied banana plugs and speaker cables that they've sent me. So we're going to go through, I'm going to show you what banana cables are for. I'm also going to show you the differences between each one of these models and what they're used for and how they're best utilized. And then we're also going to show you how to install banana plugs onto bare speaker wire. So first of all, let's just take a look at banana plugs and what they are. So essentially, banana plugs attach to the end of your speaker cable. So you can see these are really thick cables. These are 12 gauge. And so the lower the number, the larger the speaker wire is and the more fibers there are. A lot of times guys will use 14 gauge. 16 gauge can be used if it's not too long of a run. But I typically recommend either 14 gauge or something as large as this, which is 12 gauge. And so these are really heavy duty speaker cables. But you can see these just attach to the end. And then they slide right into the back of either your amplifier, processor, AVR, or your speaker terminals. And so that's what banana plugs are for. They don't change the sound. They don't enhance the sound. It simply is a major convenience, especially for a content creator like me that is continually swapping out AVRs, amplifiers, and speakers. So let's go ahead and go through the various products that we have here on the table. The first one we're going to look at is just the standard deadbolt. Now, these are the type and style that I have used over the past several years, and these have worked extremely well in my setup, and I really like this design, and I'll show you here. We'll get one of each. So you'll notice one has red, and the other has just a black kind of stripe right there. And so that lets you know the red is going to be your positive cable, the black is going to be for your negative cable. Now, what I love about these particular deadbolts is they are extremely easy to install. All you have to do is unscrew this bottom part right here, just like that. And you can see right here, we've got these little teeth. And so what you're going to do, let's put this down, and we'll go ahead and demonstrate on just some bare speaker wire that I've got. So first thing we need to do is remove this sheath. So I'm going to use the largest cut here. And I'm just going to spin that around. And then we just give it a pull. And that removes that off. And then we can trim off that piece of string right there. So now we need to strip off the actual wire. And so this is, I believe it's 16 gauge. It's pretty thin wire. This is not Sewell brand. So we'll just go ahead and strip that off. Do the same thing here. Let's do it one more time. Oh, helps if I'm using the right gauge. There we go. So we'll lay this off to the side. So you can see we've got our bare wire. We've got, this is our negative, so that's black. So what we're going to do is just kind of push those together. I'm going to feed this right through the bottom. I'm just kind of giving it a little twist there. And what we want to do is take these threads and just fold them down over those teeth. And so what I usually do is try to go in a circular motion, put some to one side, come over here, just like that. And I just kind of push them down. And then we simply take the cap, slide it onto the top, screw it in, tighten it down, and that is absolutely secure. And so that banana plug right there is just really easy to utilize. And you can see we still have a lot of space in here. That's because this is a much smaller gauge wire. This is only 16 gauge, as you can see, compared to 12 gauge. So we get a lot more fiber, a lot more copper in a larger gauge. And so I really like this design here. So we'll go ahead and unscrew that. And if you want to take them off, you just simply pull it like that. All right, so next up we have the striped banana plugs. Now these are varied in two ways. Number one, they look similar, but they attach a little bit differently, and they're also quite a bit smaller. So if I grab this second one here and we compare the two, you can see the strike are much narrower width-wise, but they're also shorter as well. So these are kind of like a low profile, but they attach just a little bit differently. So what you're going to do is just take your bare wire. We're going to unscrew this just a little bit. And then inside there, there's a small pin. So we're going to feed this wire just straight in the bottom, push it all the way to the end, and then tighten it down. And once we do that, you can see I'm pulling on it, and we've got it nice and secure. So this really is the quickest banana plug that I have ever seen to be able to install. So these are going to be the fastest. And then the second fastest, I think, are these over here. But that's a really nice slim profile and really easy to install as well. Next up, we have the Silverback. So we're going to take one of these out. And I'm also going to remove this little tool. It's basically a small screwdriver that looks like one of the Silverback banana plugs. So the way this one works is we're going to unscrew it counterclockwise. And you can see this slides off over the tip. Now, if we look closely, we've got a pin here and then a screw pin here. So you're going to need a small screwdriver. They've included one. And what you'll need to do is loosen these. Now, I'm just going to tell you up front, these are not my favorite. I've owned various banana plugs like this, and they're just a lot more tedious. I mean, as you can imagine, we're going to open up that screw there. We're going to open up this screw here. And this is a little short for my liking. I'm grateful that they included it, but when I start turning it, you can see I get a half turn, but then I have nothing to reach up and grab. So this is a little bit more tedious. So again, I've tried different brands of these, and I'm not a big fan myself. So if you're the good thing is once you install these are never coming off. I mean, you don't have to worry about that. All right, once we have the set screws loosened up, we're going to take our speaker wire, feed it all the way in there. Just make sure that you've got all of those fibers, all of those copper strands inside. And I always start with tightening the one closest to the wire first. Just go ahead and snug that one up right there. We're going to flip it over on the other side and tighten down this second set screw here, just like that. Give it a little pull, make sure that it's not going to come apart. And then we take our little sheath, little cover, and just tighten that down. And we've attached our Silverback banana plugs. So next up, we have what they call the flex pin. Now these are identical to this one here, which was the standard deadbolt and the Silverback. The only difference is this tip up here. And as you can see, these are flexible. Thus why they call it the flex pin. Now what these are utilized for is if you have legacy AVR, or maybe you have legacy speakers that have the old spring-loaded speaker terminals or connections. And so what this allows you to do is simply press down on those spring-loaded, insert this into that spring-loaded adapter, and then it'll clamp down just like that. So these are great if you've got, say, some legacy or some vintage gear that you want to attach banana plugs to. Next up, we have the 90-degree Silverback. So the only difference between this and these originals, as you can see, the tip has a 90-degree bend to it. So this is really handy is if you have a cabinet behind your AVR and there's just not a lot of room, this is a great way to reduce that. Now you can see we probably gain about, I don't know, maybe about a ½ an inch. So it's not a massive difference, but it is significant if you just need a little bit extra room behind your AV cabinet. Some guys even like to have their speaker wires behind their speakers come straight down at a 90. So again, this is just preference, or if you need the additional space behind maybe an AVR. And lastly, we have the Ocelot version. Now, if I take one of these out, the way these are designed is you simply unscrew here, and as you can see inside there, we've got a large diameter hole. So this will hold, I believe, even up to 10 gauge speaker wire, so you can fit a really, really nice, huge speaker wire there. So again, these are pretty small. This is only 16 gauge, but you would open up that hole, feed it through the bottom, tighten it down, and these are really simple to install as well. Now, one thing that's interesting about these is you can actually use these to daisy chain to one another. So if you were hooking up multiple speakers, let's say to an amplifier to a single channel, that is one way that you could do that. So you could take the second set of speaker wires and attach it just like that. And so those are now daisy chained using the same amplification. Now, if you don't want to spend the time and energy installing the banana plugs yourself and terminating those, Sewell does sell a few different variants of speaker wires with the banana plugs already terminated. So here you can see we've got the Silverback, and then they also have a version that has just the standard deadbolts. And so, as I mentioned earlier, my preference, if you're going to install them yourself, I like these. The deadbolts are just a lot simpler to install. But if you like the design here, they've already taken the time to install them for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Either one of these look great. These are just a little bit narrower. They're both about the same length. The deadbolt are just a tad bit shorter, so I don't think that's going to make much difference. The cable is super, super thick. Again, we've got 12 gauge, which is great for long runs, and it's also great for massive power. And as I shared in a previous video, Sewell even has some ghost wire, which is super flat and paintable, so you can easily hide speaker wire around your baseboards. Once again, I want to give a big thanks to Sewell for providing the banana plugs and speaker cables for not only this video, but also future videos that I'll be doing when I'm reviewing entire systems. Now, I'll have links to all of these products down in the description below, so make sure you check those out. They've also got HDMI cables and other interconnects as well. And as always, you guys be blessed, and we will catch you in the next video.